on your system. So be careful with diets because they're a little bit generic. You need to pay attention to your body. A very good advice, I don't do it because I try to remember, but have a diary of what you eat and try to look at the impact that you have. Sometimes you have like something in your stomach and you don't know what it is because you don't remember what you ate. But diets, you have to read a lot about them because they can be very dangerous and more harmful than good. And you need to understand if it's a diet based on vanity or a diet based on wellness. And I think it should be the second one because when you feel good and you look good, it's because you're doing the right thing. If you just lose a lot of weight, you're probably doing something very bad to your system. That's it's all about balance.
I'll answer. There's one person here that one of you that shared a very interesting comment, and it summarizes, I think, a lot. It's go for quality, not quantity, and that's a very good advice, I think, for everything in life, but in particular for food, for diets. Go for quality, not quantity. If you eat a lot of anything, it will be bad for you, and small amounts of really good ingredients will definitely provide all the nutrients. Voy a pasar a español porque tenemos unas preguntas buenísimas, pero resumiendo lo que acabamos de decir es consejos para la dieta, una frase sabia que es vámonos por más calidad y menos cantidad, porque cuando tenemos, o sea, si uno come poquito de cosas muy buenas, seguramente ahí tiene todo lo que es necesario, y realmente tomar más conciencia, ponerle más atención, comer más despacio son cosas que son más importantes y no se trata realmente de una dieta, de un libro. Muchas veces las dietas están hechas para vender libros o cosas así, o programas, y realmente lo que tienen que confiar es en esa sabiduría y en conocer más el producto y saber de qué es, ¿no?
Y busquen dietas que su objetivo sea el bienestar y no adelgazar. Sí. Porque adelgazar puede tener un impacto muy negativo en la salud y puede ser peligroso a largo plazo e inclusive puede generar sobrepeso en el momento en que dejan de usar la dieta.
Claro.
Pasa muchas veces que adelgazan y apenas vuelven a comerse cualquier harina, ya ganan mucho más peso que antes.
Por acá hay otra pregunta súper buena. ¿Qué opinan sobre la carne producida en laboratorio? ¿Creen que sea una opción viable para sustituir la producción de carne convencional?
Sí.
¿Será sustentable? Esta pregunta es buena y quiero también... Hay otra pregunta que dice cuáles son los alimentos menos sostenibles. La carne de res es por ahí, aquí arriba, la menos sustentable. También hay ciertos productos de lujo que están acabando con ciertos tipos de ecosistemas, por ejemplo el atún rojo. Yo personalmente, y esto fue inspirado por Rodrigo Pacheco, que en su restaurante en Ecuador, cuando yo fui la primera vez, sabía que pues allá había como una cultura de atún muy grande, especialmente por la ciudad de Manta al lado, y Pacheco siempre me dijo, yo sé cómo pescan ese pescado y jamás lo va a hacer. Y me puse a investigar, es delicioso, pero hay otros pescados baratos, sustentables, que son igual de deliciosos, realmente, y el tema de comer tanto atún no es bueno, porque están arriba en la cadena alimenticia, y comerse 1 kilo de atún es como comerse no sé cuántas cientos de kilos de pescados pequeños, porque toda la vida ese atún tuvo que alimentarse muchísimos pescados más abajo en la cadena alimentaria, ¿no?
Sí.
Entonces el atún es importante y bueno, la res, ¿no? Que después
yo ahí tengo un consejo muy importante y es carne producida en laboratorio, definitivamente sí, consume menos de 100 veces la cantidad de recursos que una carne. El problema es que actualmente es muy caro. El problema con estas tecnologías y el problema con estos sustitutos es que la gente no les da una oportunidad. Estoy hablando de carne de laboratorio, estoy hablando de insectos. Estoy hablando de muchas cosas que, a menos de que se logre industrializar y se logre automatizar y se logre evolucionar en investigación, no se va a poder implementar exitosamente en los mercados. Entonces, si a ustedes les preocupa sostenibilidad, cada vez que vean un sustituto real a un producto, traten de apoyarlo.
Apoyen.
Traten de apoyarlo.
Consumiendo, sí, exactamente. Y por ahí estuve hablando con bastantes investigadores científicos cuando estaba en Oxford sobre el tema de la carne en laboratorio. Y por el lado de los psicólogos, la pregunta era, bueno, ¿y por qué tenemos que recrear carne? Obviamente puede ser algo bueno. ¿Por qué no recreamos la textura de la carne sin que sean necesariamente ni siquiera células de músculo? Que eso es lo que están haciendo en laboratorio, están reproduciendo células musculares de animales y haciendo culturas, luego creando tejidos que parecen carne. Pero ¿por qué no crear? Y hay unas marcas muy interesantes en California que están empezando a hacer investigación, yo creo que se van a volver muy grandes. No me extrañaría para nada que cadenas de hamburgueserías grandes en el mundo, si son inteligentes, y lo son, van a cambiar a esos sustitutos de unas carnes que saben muy parecido, la misma sensación jugosa,
sí. Acá hay unos.
Que utilicen vegetal, o sea, unas hamburguesas vegetales que saben igual. Entonces, y eso es diseño de sabor y diseño culinario muy, muy interesante.
Acá se consiguen mucho. Ya hay unos nuggets que creo que inclusive tiene Zenú o algunas marcas de esas que ya venden nuggets de proteína vegetal.
Claro. I want to address all the people who've been asking questions in English. This is the first time that we're kind of jamming here with Alejandro, and we're definitely keen on doing more of this only in English. It's really cool to exchange. Mia saying that thanks for doing in English. So nice to learn from other cultures. We can exchange so much. It can be really interesting to do this more in English. And thank you all for sending all the love. I really appreciate it. And I'm really happy that we're having this opportunity here with Alejandro. Follow him. He's doing amazing work here. And we're really happy to be having this opportunity to share with you guys. So, questions. ¿Qué consejos le darían a los futuros gastrónomos? Cocineros jóvenes.
Bueno, un consejo es, dejen de pensar que la gastronomía es solamente una curaduría de producto con una técnica y una comercialización. Yo creo que tienen que empezar a tomar responsabilidad con las acciones que ustedes tienen y el impacto que tienen en lo que hemos hablado, en el medio ambiente, y involúcrense un poco más en el proceso, vayan al campo, hablen con los productores. Ustedes también tienen la capacidad muchas veces de, si ellos están haciendo algo mal, no es de malos, es porque seguramente les enseñaron que tenían que echar insecticida, y si va a haber una alternativa, seguramente es por dinero, y si ustedes tienen restaurantes, ustedes tienen la capacidad de decir, venga, yo le compro su tomate, muy bien, y a los 6 meses decirle, listo, ahora necesito que le baje el insecticida, necesito que le baje al herbicida, lo que ustedes quieran. Involúcrense un poco más. La cocina no es solamente detrás de los fogones, la cocina es política, la cocina es salud, es sexo, es política, es filosofía, es religión, es un montón de otros aspectos que no nos enseñan en las escuelas.
Así es, así es. So we have an amazing question here. What do you think of pineapple on pizza?
Damn it, I was just having that. I don't like it that much. I don't like it that much.
I say it depends on the pizzaiolo. If they know their Italian roots, could be, it's interesting. Sweetness, I don't know. Food is good. Food is good in many ways. There's no hard rules.
Yeah, whatever makes you happy.
Yes, so about the perception, the question about perception and food, the perception of food can be changed by, in many ways. Simply, for example, Alejandro was talking the other day, giving a talk in Brazil, and he made the crowd realize how important it is, for example, to have a narrative that explains to us emotionally, that creates an emotional connection with the origin, the story of the food. So narrative is massively important. If I tell you that this food is, so we did a study actually 3 years ago, we never got published, but on the perception of insects. And we gave a food that had insects to 3 different groups of people. And to one group, we told them this food is the future, it's sustainable. To other people, we told them this food is very healthy for you. It's really good for you and for your body. To other people, we told them nothing, no story. And to a fourth group, we told them other people are eating this food and it's really successful. And the perception of the flavor of food, how much pleasure people got from the food was changed dramatically. From different, just changing the story, the same food.
Yeah.
To the interesting, for example, is that the sweetness perception went lower when people knew it was healthy. So if you know that something's healthy, you think that's probably low in sugar.
Yeah.
So the perception of sweetness got lower. So if you want people to enjoy food, don't tell them it's healthy. Tell them what was really successful as a strategy was telling them that other people were eating it. You see the queues at restaurants? Always people are attracted to the restaurants that have a queue outside. When we know that something is liked by others, it is the best. Social validation is the best way to really get into loving something. So perception is a very complex result in the mind. And it comes with a lot of sensory perceptions, a lot of what we understand in previous experience. I'd love to talk about this more in detail. That's exactly what my research was on when I was at Oxford. And something that with Alejandro, I know, chefs in general kind of always try to bend these perceptions.
I found that there are three key factors in changing perceptions, or why people actually change their perspective. One is the opinion of an expert. So if an expert tells you that this is delicious, this is amazing, and this is incredible, you believe it and you eat it. The second one is that everybody's doing it. Actually, if you tell everybody's doing it, they do it.
Yeah.
It's the nature. If you get out of a concert and everybody's going to the right, you just go to the right. You don't ask anybody. You just go with the people. And the third one is that if you make it exclusive, if people want to have more of what the less they can have. So that's so that's changing perception. And then there's different techniques like the concept, the storytelling, the presentation,
and the multisensory experience.
There's a lot of tools. There's a lot of tools, and it's an amazing world to get involved with. We actually got involved in that field a long time ago. We experimented with very successful examples and very horrible experiences as well.
Yeah, that's it.
A lot of
it's
mistakes.
Like failing that you make it happen.
Yeah.
Melina just commented, "Wow, I can't believe we get persuaded into thinking eating healthy is equivalent to not eating yummy food," and that's true. It's
actually that's not
it's the wrong. Yeah, but saying that it's healthy is the wrong approach.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that policy makers have no idea about these big research papers, and some of them really do the good research. In particular, I'm thinking of people of the Nordic countries. They're really understanding psychology, but it's something that consumers, anyone, all of us, if we're aware of the more we know about something, the better ideas, the better perception, the more healthy it gets. So it is true that trying to convince towards healthy eating is the wrong strategy. I think healthy is extremely important, but one thing that I would say is that if it's not healthy for the planet, it's not healthy for us. And most of the things that are bad for us are actually bad for nature. Like the things go hand in hand. So it's very interesting to think that organic is good for you, but I'm just thinking that the strategy sometimes is not the right one to make people understand what really is good and what really maybe is not.
I actually have a restaurant. It's a healthy restaurant for people that are not healthy at all.
Yeah. But it's delicious.
It's because we don't say that it's healthy.
Yeah.
We don't use butter. Everything's local. Everything's vegetable based, and we made it very cool, very Instagrammable, and we said that it's sustainable. So people don't get intimidated, and it doesn't change.
And then when you try it, you realize it's absolutely delicious.
It looks beautiful. It tastes beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's trying to make it a little bit sexier. That's the right approach.
Okay. So really cool comments, everyone. There's por ahí alguien preguntando que cuando voy a Ecuador voy a estar allá en dos semanas con Pacheco cocinando, entonces por ahí estén pendientes para seguramente haremos alguno de estos lives. ¿Qué otras preguntas tenemos por ahí? What made you want to learn more and study this field? I guess you're thinking of the kind of the intersection between psychology and food. I would say that I would recommend anyone, any of you, and to go interdisciplinary. Like when you learn something and you feel that you've really learned, like you go to university to learn something, go to something completely different. And that's where real innovation will happen.
True.
So what happened to me is that I learned cooking, but I had a lot of other ideas in mind. And then I got interested in working with artists, and I learned from them, and I started using my food as an art form. And then a psychologist said, hey, art and food, that's interesting. Why don't you come and do research? And so I learned about psychology, and then that led to thinking about human behavior, and then public policies, and so always think in different dimensions, in different forms of thought, and that's where you can really be innovative, but that's also where you can get more out of what you really love. So, and yeah, it's more of that mindset of going interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, that is very, very cool.
Ahí hicieron una pregunta muy linda y es, ¿qué piensan sobre obligar a los niños a comer algo que no les agrada? Miren, hay algo que yo he visto, y es que los niños lo que no se comen es muchas veces porque no saben qué es. Entonces, un gran ejercicio es incluirlos en el proceso de cocción. Si ellos juegan con la comida y ven que es un tomate crudo o ven un brócoli crudo y hacen parte del proceso, ya no es tan intimidante y va a tener una posibilidad mayor de que se lo coma. Y otra es, muy interesante, es tratar de aprender a dárselos sin obligárselos. Un ejemplo, si ustedes en un vaso de jugo de mora echan una rama de brócoli, nunca se va a dar cuenta y se acaba de consumir un brócoli que es crudo. Eso quiere decir que tiene todos sus nutrientes intactos, todas sus vitaminas intactas, y el niño no se va a dar cuenta y no tienes que obligarlo a que se coma el producto en realidad. Hay que buscar formas de prepararlo diferentes. Si no le gusta así, de pronto, si le gustan los nuggets de pollo y logran que el brócoli quede apanado y con la misma salsa, pues seguramente lo va a comer. No hay que obligarlo.
Yeah. So, switching to English, there's one question for you. Where's your restaurant? Someone is coming and want to go to the restaurant.
So, my restaurant, mi restaurante, it's called Canasto Picnic Bistro. It's in Bogota. And if you want to follow it, it's on Instagram. It's Canasto Picnic. Or if you can direct message me, I will send you all the information. Vayan a mi restaurante, Canasto Picnic Bistro. Y el Pantera, tenemos taco de insectos.
¿Taco de insectos?
Sí,
lo están haciendo.
Desde el principio.
Insect taco in Colombia, well, in Mexico, of course. But it's funny because it's very traditional, and sometimes you don't find it in Mexican spots and in taquerias, and so it's interesting to I mean, that was something that I really enjoyed with Rodrigo. It was like a no-brainer when we had the taco challenge. Just let's bring something sustainable on the plate, and the fact that the judges loved it, and that we showed that the humble cricket could be up there, and super high quality, super flavor, and be considered to be more flavorful than other dishes made by some of these incredible chefs that were at the final table. So it's really good. It gives me hope, and I'm sure, and I hope that some taqueros will think of putting insects. I'm sure you were thinking about it before the show, because we were thinking about this for a long time. But yeah, it's ¿dónde pueden encontrar chapulines en Bogotá?
No, solo acá. Y también estamos empezando a cultivar larvas de abeja.
Ah, wow, qué lindo.
Coman insectos, es lo más delicioso que hay en el mundo. Algo que es muy chistoso es que todo el mundo dice, oh, insectos. Un tercio de la población del planeta tiene insectos en su dieta del día a día. Un tercio. Entonces es mucho menos común de lo que nosotros, mucho menos raro de lo que nosotros pensamos. Hay un video espectacular de una persona en Tailandia que frita tarántulas. Ese es un negocio, vende tarántulas fritas. Y llega un tipo y le explica, sin decirle el nombre, cómo se produce McDonald's. Y el tipo era con 16 pinchos de tarántula en la mano diciendo, pero esa gente está loca, ¿cómo se va a comer eso, güey? ¿Están locos? Es simple un tema cultural.
Yeah. So, I have a few questions in English here. About the insects, it's funny because as Alejandro was just saying, in some countries, in Thailand, was it in Thailand?
In Thailand.
In Thailand, people eat insects and it's quite normal. In the Americas, some traditions have it, like particularly Mexican, but it's not really common. People are disgusted by it. And in other countries, someone just commented, they're taboo. Like they're forbidden to, like by cultural, it's that you basically cannot eat insects, just like you cannot eat pork in some cultures. So it's very interesting. But the point being that there are alternatives to beef.
And delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious.
And don't get us wrong. We love beef. We love the animals in particular. We just think that we should be consuming them a bit less and find other alternatives that are just as delicious and as and much more sustainable, but as delicious and that can replace any other. They can be replaced by other more sustainable proteins. Someone is saying, talking about chontacuros from Ecuador. That's really cool, Santi. Chontacuros, they call them, los llaman los chontacuros que acá los llaman diferente, como son los gusanos de maguey.
¿De maguey?
No, los de maguey son los de México.
No, los de coco.
Chontacuros son los de coco.
Del Amazonas.
Sí,
¿cómo es que dicen?
Usted los ha cocinado, que están metidos en el tronco del...
Deme un minuto y ya me acuerdo.
Ok, en fin, esos son buenísimos.
Son
buenísimos, fritos, son deliciosos. También son animalitos con conciencia, ¿no? Pero de alguna manera está bueno, es una delicia, pues.
Sí.
Bueno, ¿qué otras preguntas tenemos por ahí? Would you consider veganism? It's the second time that we get this question. What we think about vegan food is, I mean, I'm vegan 70% of the time. I love cheese. I love animals, alive in particular, and I think the vegan movement is just a manifestation of what needs to happen. I think people that have a vegan diet are highly ethical, and I think we should all respect that because it is good to just also indulge and enjoy whatever nature gives us and what is part of our culture. But it is important to just be a bit more mindful, be a bit more ethical, because I think what's happening nowadays with animals is should change, and I think whether you eat meat or not, you should be aware of it. And I think veganism is necessary. It's important, and it's also delicious. It's not just some like a fad, a trend. We've been vegan as humans. We've been vegan always, and we've had some animals sometimes for celebration, right? And for rituals, and we would sacrifice an animal for a wedding, of course, and it would be like the best thing.
But it would be a ceremony. And it would be it's a whole process. It's a whole how do you call that?
It's a ritual.
It's
a ritual, and I think that's important. Like bringing back that type of respect for animals and for milk. Like, I love cheese. It's like one of my favorite things on earth. But I do try to eat less of that, and of course from sustainable ways, because you have to think that when you're eating cheese, it's how is the animal being treated, right? So that's important to be ethical, and again, quality, not quantity. That's definitely it. All right. So if you have any other questions, please. If I have any pets, no, I don't have pets, but maybe one day. Any other questions? How can we raise awareness around food that is going extinct, both in terms of the ingredients and as well as the techniques? Wow. So tuna, for instance, might be something that our grandchild won't be able to enjoy. So how do we change that? I mean, we need to start by, personally, I haven't cooked and I haven't eaten tuna in 4 years since I met Rodrigo, except for once that I went to Tokyo, and there I ate the fat belly tuna, the toro, because I had to try it to realize that it was really delicious, but it was too hyped. It's really not worth exterminating a species. It's really good, but it's not. I mean, I've tried fishes like skate, for instance, that we cooked on a final table that are just as delicious as tuna. So how do we become proponents of it? Be mindful of what you get, learn about what is available, and be critical also, and create conversation around it, and support new ingredients, support new products, because that's going to be what our child will be feeding with. What else? Oh, this is a good question. Morrocoya, I hope you speak in English, if that's okay. ¿Cuáles artistas o pintores más te inspiran? What are the artists or painters that inspire you most? This
is gonna be a cool conversation.
Well, okay, so you wanna say? What comes to mind first?
So for me, I know that we're gonna have different artists, because I know the ones we have in common, and I know the interests that we don't. So for me, influence in my work, it's artists like Wes Anderson, the film director.
Yeah.
His vision on aesthetic, and his vision on using composition and color as a language to tell a story. So that's very inspiring for me. That's one of my top.
So I can go the first one that comes to mind is of course Kandinsky, because I had this particular inspiration a few years ago that turned into a salad, and I ended up doing research at Oxford because of that, or thanks to that. But going a bit more obscure, I think Franz Liszt, pianist, was a great artist. He inspired Wagner into. He used to be a translator of arts. He would read a poem and create music for it. He would see a painting and would create music for it. And he had this incredible life. So if you can check out Franz Liszt, it's really, really a big inspiration. Of the modern artists, I would say, I think Marcel Duchamp changed a lot of things, questioning art, and I really appreciate that. And also Andy Warhol, questioning art as well, but also modern society. And he said a lot of big truths, like everyone would have 5 minutes of fame, and now everybody can with Instagram or all this, and he really changed a lot of things. Basquiat is also someone that I really appreciate. He was a graffiti artist in New York. Banksy is definitely. JR is doing amazing stuff nowadays. JR, always with a purpose, always with a social cause, and I really admire what he's done, in particular in zones of conflict. I think the artists that I admire most are actually people that have changed things, that really have questioned society in profound ways, and that have always responded to what was wrong in their times. Because I think that a lot of artists are highly respectable, but their message is kind of disconnected from what's happening in the world, and that I think that we should be responsible for what's happening in the world. That's why, if Da Vinci was born right now, he would probably do something about climate change. He would probably do something about some of the messed up things that we have. He wouldn't be just drawing machines. He would be making a lot of things that would respond to today. Same with Picasso eventually.
Yeah. Do you know that I have a Da Vinci cooking book?
Oh yeah, the codex.
He invented a lot of recipes that we still eat. Like there was like an anchovies sauce for eggs, and he actually used to cook. So me estaban preguntando del artista del fondo. So her.
Yeah, she's amazing, huh?
She's incredible. I'm gonna put her name in my profile after we finish the talk, so you can see her work. It's an incredible. These are little like tents that they put next to the road in Colombia, and they sell the products that locals produce, and it's incredible. They always have honey, plantain, beautiful things. So she goes, takes the pictures, and then she paints something that is very dear for us cooks.
Yeah. Well, there's so many amazing comments. Like you guys, it's really inspiring. Someone really likes Grand Budapest Hotel, which is
love it.
Someone is asking, Leah, preguntando por Boca Valdivia. You're asking if there's something similar. I hope you speak English. There's something in Mexico or in Central America and South America that's similar to Boca Valdivia. Boca Valdivia is quite unique in a way that, I mean, Rodrigo really is a chef that a human that I really admire, because he was really,
I know what.
He's really kind of a lot of integrity. He wanted to cook more sustainable, while he had the opportunity to create a sustainable village project, and a hotel was built, and he took over with his family and created, and he also has a foundation next to it. So the foundation, together with the restaurant and hotel, together with a project of urban management of the land, is quite unique in its ways. But there's, of course, you mentioned someone in
Yeah, so he's one of my dearest friends. He's as close to me as Charles. His name is Andres Moratalla. So he was one of the top chefs in Panama City, and one day he just snapped and said, fuck it, and he went to the beach in the middle of nowhere in Playa Venao. And he created an amazing restaurant called Panga, and he only used products from the region. And what started happening is that he started finding ingredients that were usually imported to Panama, and the fishermen and the people there didn't know you could eat it, like mules and things like that, and they throw it away. And he started getting them and sending it to his chef friends in Panama City. So check him out, Andres Moratalla, in a restaurant called
Love to meet him.
Panga. Incredible.
Okay, back to the Colombian. ¿Algún artista colombiano que los haya inspirado en algún momento?
Claro, sí. A mí me gusta mucho Echeverry, Rafael Echeverry, creo que se llama. No es el Echeverry que está ahorita de moda, es uno anterior. Me encanta Luis Caballero, sobre todo por la experimentación que tenía desde el punto de vista estético y desde el punto de vista político y desde el punto de vista sexual.
Claro, también con el tema político y con las interpretaciones de publicidad, eso me parece genial. Obviamente Botero, que es un grande, y que lo más bonito, yo creo, fue que realmente dio a conocer Colombia, digamos, de una manera muy bonita durante los últimos décadas, ¿no? Es creo que el más grande que ha habido. Y ahora, se me está escapando el nombre, estaba justamente haciendo Alex Astoque. No sé si ha visto el arte de Alex, que es arte visionario, en el sentido que tiene una interpretación de la realidad a través de la pintura que es muy bonita. Hace poco estaba con Amanda Sage, que también es increíble. Pero sí, de los que están ahorita haciendo cosas muy interesantes, Alex Astoque es realmente muy, muy inspirador.
Voy a dar un ejemplo muy interesante, y no es de quienes nos hemos inspirado nosotros, sino artistas que se han inspirado de nuestra gastronomía. Hay una que se llama Venus White, que sale en un libro, además haciendo un trabajo con Ferran Adrià, es colombiana, pero ella acaba de sacar ahora, está explorando todo el tema de luz, y terminó creando unas lámparas en formas de cacao. Va a haber una hoy en mi restaurante, y es increíble, de verdad que el trabajo que está haciendo es espectacular, además que tiene una responsabilidad social. Entonces ella trata de, si está haciendo un trabajo inspirado en cacao, entonces cómo se involucra también en cómo está funcionando la industria de cacao en Colombia. Entonces también búsquenla, Venus White.
Claro. Okay. A lot of questions. Going to quickly respond a few ones. Charles, would you release your own book? I think I would. I'm thinking about it. I've written a lot. It's been kind of messy in my computer, sitting. So maybe one day I'll figure out something. It's not going to be a recipe book, because I don't believe in recipes, and I will explain why on the book one day. But
selling books already.
Yeah. So maybe one day, definitely. There's a lot of people asking about favorite things in South America, in Ecuador. There's so many good things. Like, what would be the dish that would represent South America in a way? What would be the food that would represent it? It's so complex. Like, it's such a massive a massive continent.
I think something with corn, because
something with corn.
The Andes, it's like the spine of the continent, and all the rest is different.
Yeah.
Because we have the Amazons, but the rest of Latin America don't have Amazons, and then you have the Pacific, but the other side doesn't have it. So I think the Andes.
Yeah, the corn and the empanadas, right? Because empanadas are kind of everywhere, even in Argentina, no, lomita. It's really complex. The arepas, that also, like the bread in Colombia is very big, but also in Venezuela. There's more things that unite us in this continent that separate us, but it's definitely not divided in the way that countries are divided. Like ceviche is the Pacific, right? It's a region. It's Peru, it's Colombia, it's Ecuador. Pisco is between Peru and Chile, right? And it's a big debate. Empanadas everywhere as well. And you should think of the African roots of this continent that are super important and massive and delicious, right? So under the equator, you see traditions that came from Africa. From the African continent, in particular kind of West Africa, a lot of things cooked in leaves, and that's the same in Bahia on the Atlantic side, and in the Pacific, in the Colombian Pacific and Ecuadorian Pacific, very similar techniques. So yeah, it's kind of a melting pot of the world here, very much so. It's very beautiful. Someone mentioned Guayasamín. Love Guayasamín
from Ecuador.
Yeah.
I don't like him. I hate him. I really hate him. Personally hate him.
Why?
Because he stole his fucking style. I know who he stole it from, and it was horrible.
Well, everyone gets inspired by other people.
No, but it's like making fat people and saying like, oh no, but I came out. No, Botero came out with that.
Yeah, but
don't like Guayasamín. Hate him.
I love him. This guy. And I love that. And Venezuela also has Cruz Diaz that I really admire. And a lot of King card coming there. It's amazing. A lot of people ask me about my restaurant. Chef Cox here asks.
He doesn't believe in restaurants either.
Well, I do believe in restaurants, but I don't. I quit the restaurant life in 2009 because it was very tough, and I decided to go on a different route. And I really admire the people that do own restaurants and work in there. But I think there's something substantial that needs to evolve, and I think personally my work could be much more efficient and let's say leave a trace much more working outside of the restaurant than actually having a restaurant. Where would I cook? That's another question, and definitely would love to go to many places and cook and do demonstration and teaching. I've been more of a teacher than a chef in the last 4 years because chef means chief, right? And you are a chief of a kitchen, chef de cuisine, when you are on top, like commanding, being the chief of a team.
We have 2 minutes left. Tenemos 2 minutos.
So anyways, just to wrap up this little thing, I think, I'll be doing a lot of teaching more than restauranting.
So I do have restaurants, but a lot of people are asking about your necklace.
Necklace?
Yeah, I've seen that like 10 times, so really? I think yes, you should answer it, definitely. I don't have a necklace.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. It's in his book. It comes with a necklace.
Maybe. Book number 3. That's the story for later. But yeah, so we have a minute left. How do you feel?
I feel good. Thanks to everybody for your answers, your questions, your love, your comments. Muchas gracias a todos por estar acá con nosotros.
Gracias, Dana.
Saludes a todos, de verdad, un abrazo para todos. Planes para el 2019. También es secreto.
Very, very grateful for everyone to show up, and it's been amazing to see the reaction that you've had for the response to the final table. And I really want to start communicating a bit more through this medium, and it's been just a lot of work recently and I'm happy that we got this opportunity with Alejandro. I'm very grateful for him, and very